Hi, thank you for attending the Real Women Reveal taping at our Real Women Reveal boutique store and more. So we have a new location that we'll be taping at. So I just wanted to give a little bit of an excerpt, I guess, about what Real Women Reveal is about, so we can just kind of get an idea. It was originated, or I guess the inception of it, was promoting self-esteem, self-worth, and sisterhood for all women. My husband and I do have a transitional facility for women and men. So what I found is that once women are clean and sober, self-esteem and self-worth is vital for them to stay in recovery. So as I indicated before, I used to have a lot of events at my house, and we just talk, and we would talk about sisterhood things and relationships. So that's how it kind of started, because it was very therapeutic from there. So that's the birth of Real Women Revealed, and it's transformed from there. So the tapings, so we hope to see that the live tapings go somewhere else that we'll talk about later. So this is our third annual Sexy Shoe Soiree. We're doing it a little bit different this year. Normally I'll have the ladies, we'll be at a nightclub and we're kind of hanging out, showing our shoes. We're going to still do that. And the one with the sexiest shoes will win some Real Women Reveal gear. So, but at all the tapings, the Sexy Shoe Soiree, we always have one round table discussion, and that's where we're going with this today. So what I decided to have is loving on the rebound. Has anybody been in a relationship where it was a rebound relationship? So it's a little bit of a twist to that. So what I want to read to you about a rebound relationship, and then you can see if this kind of hits you. Okay. A rebound relationship is one that occurs shortly after the breakup of a significant love relationship. If you are in a relationship but have distanced yourself emotionally from your relationship partner, you may begin a rebound relationship before you even leave the relationship you are in. If you move quickly from a long-lasting relationship into another relationship, then you are probably in a rebound relationship. So I will just go first to say, yes, I have been in a rebound relationship before. I'm just going to keep it real, real, real. And the reason that I was in a rebound relationship is because I wanted to get over the person that I was in love with before. So I just moved quickly into a relationship so that I can get over that relationship. And that's for me. I'm being very honest. It did not necessarily work, but I thought it would help assist me in the breakup that I had before. So I'm going to ask anybody to comment on that.
Yes, I married my rebound relationship.
Oh.
So I think that sometimes they can be very successful. Me, myself, the reason for me doing a rebound relationship was because I was sworn to never do a relationship, because I was so deep in the depression and heartache. But I used my own theory that I use in life, and my theory in life is get up and show up. So when something stopped me from getting up and showing up, then I decided that I would not. So when love showed up at my door, I got up and answered it.
Your rebound relationship was your marriage relationship?
Yes, I was in a very, very toxic relationship that I had been in for a couple of years. And when I just became totally poisoned by it, and the breakup came, even though it was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life.
What, the breakup?
The breakup.
Okay.
So the breakup was definitely the get up, you know what I mean? Because the breakup was the best thing for me. So when that happened, I just totally went into depression. I was in the bed. And Audrey knows me. I mean, that's not even like my MO. I couldn't get up. I couldn't go to work. I was crying. I was totally devastated. And I kept talking to, and that's why the self-esteem and self-worth is important. I remember going into a Facebook chat Audrey created with me and a couple of our other girlfriends, and I expressed to them where I was at in my life right now. And Audrey was like, girl, you got to pull it together. You know, you know, so, you know, and she told me that I was worth more. I was more worthy of myself, that I owed myself. that I didn't owe anything to that relationship. I owed myself, and that they would be here when I found myself. So at that point, I decided that next morning, you know what? I'm constantly doing things where I say, get up and show up for your life. Get up and show up. You got to get up every day. If you show up for your life will show up for you. And remarkably, the day that I got up to show up for my life was the day that I met my husband. I started communicating with him. And so I communicated with him. We wasted no time. I never even felt the pain after that. You know what I mean? It appeared every now and then, but I just closed the door on that because I opened the door up to the fact that I was cautious because I was thinking, it's a rebound, you know what I mean? So this isn't going to work. This is a rebound. But you never know what's going to work in your life if you don't get up and show up for your life.
You know, when I look at relationships and dating, that just continues to come up. And I try to look at things that I went through to talk about, because if I went through it, more than likely somebody else has went through it. Not everybody, not all of us, but more than likely. So I always look at suggestions. So nobody else. What about you, Tamara?
You can tell us.
We won't tell anybody.
Oh yes, it's gonna be on YouTube.
We won't
tell anybody.
We're trying to make it go viral.
And then it's like, oh my God. No, sure, I've done that. I've done that unintentionally, I think, because but one time totally intentionally, and I've told this story before. When I moved to Arizona many years ago, I was going back and forth to Oakland because I wasn't ready to let go. And long distance relationships are really not that good, but it was easy enough because my ticket was paid for, but it wasn't good. And so I was like, let me just try to let this go. Let me try not to. And I was trying to move back after I moved here. I was actually trying to move back to Oakland because I didn't like Arizona in the beginning. But also I needed to let go of that relationship. And I intentionally met someone at Jockey Club way back in the day.
Shout out to the Jockey
Club. I didn't know anything about it. Somebody said, go to Jockey Club. That's where the uppity people go. And I was like, oh, that's me. I need to go there. Not because I'm uppity, but because I put clothes on and they used to talk about me because I put clothes on when I go out.
Because you dress a different way.
And they're like, why do you dress like, well, anyway, needless to say, I went to the Jockey Club, met this guy, and yes, it was it was supposed to be just, you know, for fun. And I didn't know until the day after, he was a football player. And I was like, okay, I don't want to deal with no professional football players, but anyway, met him, and it was supposed to be just that. I was like, no, you can't have my phone number. You know, I'll see you again. And that's kind of like, it was a rebound because I was like trying to be like, okay, if you're going to find me if you want to talk to me again. And he did. And the bad part about it is that I wasn't supposed I was like, okay, I'm just trying to just clear my mind and just have fun, and maybe this is going to get my mind off of it. So we dated, and eventually I didn't expect it to go anywhere, but we dated over a year, and then he just became very obsessive with me, and it was just, that relationship turned bad because it was like he wanted to be there all the time. So when he wasn't playing football, he wanted me to be right there, or he wanted to be right there. And I was like, no, this is getting crazy. And we went out on my birthday the year after, and we went to the Jockey Club. Of course, I know people in Phoenix. We got put out the Jockey Club because someone bought me a birthday gift. And he just really just flipped out. And
so wait. You just can't breeze over.
I'm like, are you kidding?
Someone, it was your birthday.
We actually got put out the club because he was going off. He took my keys, and the bouncer had to get them because they knew me. I technically didn't have to go. He had to go, but because, you know, I was like, you know what, I just need to go. But it turned out bad. So rebound relationships can be good in one sense, but at the same time, I didn't really know him well, but of course we got to know each other over time. And I don't know if it was because his status or whatever, that he felt that he could be like that. He wanted
Let me
to
read
control
something
me.
else.
He wanted to be here. I was like, not every day, all day. We're not getting married. You know, we just...
Right. Let me read something to you, and then I'm going to come back. It says purpose. Rebound relationship serves a purpose. A rebound relationship is a distraction. It is a connection to another person that keeps us from having to experience the full extent of the emotional pain of our recent breakup. That's exactly why I dated somebody else, because that's what I didn't want to. I don't like pain. It is a misguided attempt to move on with our lives. Many people will jump back into the dating scene because they fear being alone. It's a quick fix, one in which we can drown out our pain by reveling in the emotional intensity and passion of a newfound love. It can be a lot more fun than dealing with the misery of a recent broken heart. So it served a purpose for me, because I don't like to be, I'm that type, if you break my heart, it's like, okay, that won't happen again. You know, I'll put up the shield, which is not necessarily a good thing, but I'll put up the shield that, okay, that won't happen again. You broke my heart, that won't happen again. So it's like I said, a misguided attempt, because it is misguided. But I want to ask you guys something and then come back. Okay, ask all you guys. So have you ever known, I know you guys maybe said you haven't been in a rebound relationship. Do you know somebody that possibly have been in a rebound relationship? And if you have, how do you give support as a sisterhood, as a friend, to show them that support?
Well, I helped somebody, but this has been years, and they're still together today.
Okay.
But it was very, very rocky at the beginning. Because we all felt, it wasn't just me, it was other women that rallied around this lady. And year after year, we finally realized she was very needy. Very, very needy.
Okay.
And she just jumped, she left this guy, had 2 kids, and they moved from California here, and they were living out on the streets. So we rallied around her and grabbed, got clothes and food, and she started working with us.
Speak up a little bit, because this is a good story.
She started working for our company. So at least she had a job, but the kids were kind of homeless, and this guy, so she finally kicked this guy out. And no more, like you said, the day she met this guy, he was working in our building. And me being, the sister, like, who are you? I don't want to be ugly, but, I go, that comes a dime a dozen.
Right, okay. We know what you're talking about.
Who are you? But they're, they've had a baby, he's 10 years old now, but now she's so deep into the relationship, she's just having a hard time getting out. She wants to get out now.
So are you saying the rebound relationship that she got into, she's been in it for 10 years, because they have
longer
than 10 years, but they had a child that's 10 years. But you're saying she wants to get out of that relationship?
Out of the relationship.
But she just feels it's been too long and she doesn't know how to get out. So was it rocky from the beginning, or
yes.
is this?
Oh yeah, I think it was very rocky from the beginning.
So
there's no trust, is what I guess. There's no trust anymore. There was something trauma that happened to them in their relationship. And she doesn't have that trust. And I guess when you lose that trust, it's hard to get it back. So she just, the word milking it, just going day by day.
So how do you?
So I don't know how to help her.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. How do you? Because that's over 10 years, you said. So how do you? I'll ask you, Miss Roberta, because I know you're always so give out such great knowledge in such a very charismatic way. What in Jean's case with her friend? What should we do as women, not necessarily us, but as a sisterhood friends, that we can show that type of a friend our support, that we're still there, just be there? Or
most of us want to be in relationships that are extremely healthy and that are extremely worthy of our attention. So I think just the subtle things that happen, that go on, that being in a relationship doesn't allow you to see, those are the little things that you can mention and bring up. Because if it's truly an unhealthy relationship, she needs to be out of it. And if she's not feeling comfortable and the trust is truly broken, it's probably not going to come back unless this person is truly special, very mature, and knows how to get it back. And very few people, men or women, know how to get the trust back again. They're not willing to put out the work and the effort to do it. So I think that, you know, when you have a friend who's in a situation like that, you know, don't hold back on what you see. Do it gracefully, do it subtly, but, you know, kind of put out those hints of things that you observe, even if you take it from another perspective and you say, if you were in a healthy relationship, this is the way it would look. So if you're not in a, and even if you're throwing out those ideas, because then that's food for thought, then the person begins to think, well, that's not exactly happening here, or, you know, that's not the way it feels, and then that person can internalize for themselves their sense of self-worth and whether they're truly living in the truth of their worth, because that's sometimes challenging. As women, we give, we're always doing for men, even if we know we shouldn't, even if we know we should wait for them to do more for us. We just tend to feel good for some strange reason about doing for them.
That maternal type.
That maternal type that's hard for us to undo. And, you know, it's almost like when a man is doing something bad, you know, it's just like with our children, we don't realize it, how we can forgive them, you know, scold them, and then we forgive them, you know. We almost have to think, and we do it all the time, we almost have to think about, you know, what we're doing, you know, how are we treating him like he's a man, or are we treating him like he's our boy, you know. And that's something that I think we don't often think about.
Right there.
Yeah, well, you know, I have a daughter who reads a lot and studies a lot, and sometimes when she encounters men, because she does some online type therapeutic stuff, even on the phone and stuff, and she'll turn around to me and she'll say, Mom, well, he's 48 years old, but he's a boy. And at first I thought that was very harsh, because she's just 33. I thought, you know, Rakia, that's not nice.
Right.
You know, you're saying that about a person who's developed for 48 years, and you're saying he's a boy. And she says to me, but Mom, we have to be real, or else we will end up with boys. She says, I'm trying to prepare my life so that I can identify a man. And if I don't begin to be discerning, then, you know, how will I ever do that, you know? And she knows Mom is single, you know, so it's not like I have this wonderful current example, you know, and that's real, you know? And she knows Mom chose to be single, so Mom could develop and understand self-worth and self-esteem and keep it on track.
Keep it.
Right. But Mom slips sometimes too.
We all
but
do.
Mom is able to admit that she slips. But Mom understands that, and Mom knows how to reconstruct Mom. Okay? And so my daughter is saying to me, Mom, at 33, I have to figure that out. I want a family, I want children, I have neither. So how will I go out into this world and choose a man? And I think those subtle things, what she talks to me about is, Mom, this is what a healthy relationship looks like. These are the things that are in place in a healthy relationship. This is what a man says to you when he means well and he has your best interest. And when he loves you, this is the language that he speaks, you know. And I think those little things are important in terms of supporting our friends and supporting ourselves. And when the language changes, very often we haven't shifted with that language. So we're still talking nice, sweet talk. And these little things, these little daggers, you know, we push them away. And we try to reconstruct sometimes. Sometimes we'll say to a man, you know, let's get back on a sweet track, you know. But think about it. If you have to say that, you know, and you have to say, watch your language, watch it, well, that in itself is a point of caution.
Red flag.
Yeah, so I say just keep it positive and bring out those positive things so that people understand where they truly are in terms of their relationship.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back because Miss Roberta dropped it, and I got to soak on it. She drops it.
Help me
I keep a mention. I keep strong women around me. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. We're back. We had to take a little break, a sabbatical off of that, but it was good. Dropping knowledge, having a healthy sisterhood. I'm just gonna follow kind of up what was mentioned before from Miss Roberta, that just because, and for all of us, but we're women, so we're talking about our relationships, but it could go for women too. But just because a person reaches manhood, whether they're 45, 48, 50, that doesn't mean that they've matured into that age where they may need to be. So we're talking about rebound relationships, and some of us discussed the reason we've been in one, or maybe our sister friend has been in one, and how we've tried to assist them through that. So I know we got our girl Chanel here now on the set. We've added one more sister. Hi. So I'll go ahead and get some feedback from you. Have you ever been in a rebound relationship, or do you know someone that's been in a rebound relationship that you've helped? And I'll just read this little excerpt really quick. I read it earlier. A rebound relationship is one that occurs shortly after the breakup or a significant love relationship. If you're in a relationship but have distanced yourself emotionally from your relationship partner. And then we also talked about how sometimes you get in relationships to heal the pain because you're lonely and things like that.
Mr. Birdie, you were just dropping knowledge at the end, so I really appreciate that type of wisdom to put it out in the atmosphere, because sometimes if we listen to people who may have had the experience or can speak of a situation they know about, it helps it be more relatable, and it helps us understand and makes us actually take a look at ourselves.
Self-reflection.
To see, always, self-reflection, take a step back and take a look at what is it that we're doing. So have I known someone? Maybe have I been a part of a rebound relationship? Yes and yes. And the point is that it gives you an opportunity to say, why am I doing this? And sometimes as women, we can be emotional, and we love with our hearts, and sometimes we don't, I don't want to say clearly think things through, because we do know and realize why we're doing what we're doing, but it feels good. It's like our love language is that touch, it's that comfort, it's that knowing somebody wants to be there for you. I recently had a conversation with a girlfriend of mine, and like you said, Audrey, before we left the last segment, I always surround myself with positive women, and women where I can learn from either their experience or situations, or we just add to one another. And a close friend of mine shared with me that a relationship did not work out the way she wanted it to, and there are children involved. And we know what it's like when there's children involved, you know. It's like we know this person is going to be around, but I really feel like women, we truly want that family. We truly want it to work. We don't want to feel as if we failed the closest thing to us, which is our family. And sometimes the relationship is not there. Sometimes people grow apart. Sometimes individuals, you know, may not be as compatible as they once thought they were. But we need to be strong. And I'm talking to myself too. We do need to be strong, because we accept so much. We will hold out. We will put our careers on hold. We will put our goals on hold, because we want to help him get to where he got to go. And like what Ms. Roberta said, the man is supposed to, you know, be the leader, you know, and even as independent as some of us are, you know, we still like a man that we can trust, you know, a man that we know that won't steer us wrong. So in regard to the rebound relationships, I think that's an opportunity for each of us to take, to do some self-reflection, to see what we learned from it. I try to use the phrase and say that, you know, every experience is an opportunity.
It is.
And it's an opportunity to grow and to know. But sometimes we think that physical is just like everything, but it's not. It's someone loving Audrey the way Audrey needs to be loved. Not just loving you the way I want to love you. I mean, I'm here. Some people think that their physical presence is everything. What you mean? I'm here. I'm like, really? You know?
Bring more to the table than your appetite.
Absolutely.
Let me read this. It says, great expectations. Don't go into a rebound relationship expecting your new partner to make up for the shortcomings and mistakes of the old partner. I like to call this the knight in shining armor syndrome. You may have just come out of a relationship that involved infidelity or abuse or so on and so forth, and you're expecting that new partner to make up for the pain that you experienced from the other relationship. So it's an expectations, and it says, more than likely, all you will do is exchange one set of problems for another. You need to figure out what you want in a relationship before jumping into a new relationship. Too fast, too soon. That's another point. But I know you made a point, and I wanted you to expound on a little bit when we were off tape. But sometimes self-reflection, self-reflection can be a hard one. It's good, but it can be a hard one. But if you come to the point, and I believe, I hope that I've come to the point in my life where I can really self-reflect. I can be honest with myself and say, you know what, I shouldn't be doing this, or I shouldn't be in this relationship, or whatever. But it's hard sometimes. But when you grow to a maturity, you just have to look. And I think for me, the best, I do a lot of meditation now. I do a lot. I try to devote myself every morning. I get up, I'll get up extra early to just meditate, to just let me hear it. Where do I need to be? Let me be in a calm place to get that. And sometimes we really have to get that, to self-reflect, because I think with women, and I know I did another segment that maybe some of you guys were on, our must-haves in relationships and things like that. I can give you a piece of paper and you can all write down so eloquently what your must-haves are. But become lonely. Become lonely, and that list is just going to go out. You're going to forget all your must-haves because the loneliness that we want goes out the door when we're looking for our must-have. So expound just, Miss Roberta, and I'm going to come back over this way. Don't think I forgot you, Tamara. To expound on some of what you were speaking of when we were off tape.
I will admit this, relatively recently, I decided to do some true introspection. And I decided that I needed to look back over previous relationships, one at a time, and to truly evaluate them as an outsider. So I went online and I researched books that had titles such as The Emotionally Abused Person. Okay. And I gathered this whole collection of books. And I started to read. I mean, couldn't put the books down. And I can tell you, even though I'm a reading specialist by craft, I'm not the bookworm. But I was up all night reading these books and highlighting, just like a college student, just absolutely studying, and highlighting sections to take back into my journal and to actually script on my own. So I finished about 300 pages of reading in the last 3 days. And I identified all of the things that constitute emotional, psychological, verbal abuse. And I started to think about how many of these things have I heard, have I experienced, do I know others who experience them, and where can I place them? Where can I place them? And I was absolutely shocked to be able to put myself in that space. Absolutely shocked. And what motivated this is I have a dear friend whose daughter is 30 years old, let's just say, and she married about 3 years ago. Fabulous New Year's Eve wedding, etc. And she was tortured for 3 years in this marriage. Gained 50 pounds, beautiful girl. I mean, couldn't get up out of bed, pains in her body that can't be diagnosed, the whole bit. And her mom, who's a dear friend of mine, when I communicate with her, I tried to get her to pay attention to her daughter and remove her from that situation and not have her to try to make it work and, you know, absorb all of the inadequacies that he was putting on her, you know, because she's young and very vulnerable. Anyway, I didn't have much success. So when I got these series of books, I called her mom back and I said, listen, I know of your previous relationships, and she was abused emotionally, very, very much abused during both of her marriages, her mom. And I said, I want you to take a look. I'm reading to you a series of things, and I just read them out to her. And I gave her some authors. I said, I want you to research these books. I want you to do this for Lindsay. This is her daughter. I said, because she has suffered too much, and she's having problems recovering from this. She needs to have that opportunity, you know. And so her mom says, because her mom is a stout woman, you know, so if a man approaches her, she's ready to box him, and, you know, she's ready to take care of it, you know? And she'll say, I didn't take this, I didn't take that. And I said to her, I said, but that has nothing to do with it. I said, what we're talking about is, were you verbally, were you emotionally, were you psychologically abused? Were there abusive behaviors that affected you? And I said, as your friend, I can tell you, yes, there were. And I said, if you can be honest with this, then you will stop telling her, toughen up. You know, things happen in life. You have to move on. Because in reality, guess what? You're not reaching out to her. You're still defending yourself. I said, maybe she doesn't want to box him.
That's a good point.
You know, maybe she doesn't want to talk back and stand up and curse him back, and maybe that's not her character. You know, and I said, it's not my character either. I said, so the things that you did, I can't do because it's not me. I don't want to do that, you know. And so anyway, I was trying to get her on track to do something to help her daughter, because she restricts her daughter from exchange. Daughter calls me on the sneak and talks to me for hours and hours, because mom is a mom who wants to be in charge and feels threatened when somebody else is having some real true internal experiences with her children, and I already knew that. So my point is that we need to take some time as women. We could talk about self-esteem building, we could talk about self-worth, we can use all of these expressions which we know so well and which flow from us almost naturally now. But how to do that is, to me, where the real challenge comes. And I think one way to do that is to take a look, re-examine our own lives and re-examine all of those things that have truly happened to us, and be realistic about the effect that those things had on us. Because until we can straighten all that out, we can't move forward in a truly safe way, a self-protective way, where we accept all of who we are. We have the list of all those things that we want in our mate. We have that. All of us could rattle that off in here in no time. But in order to have those things, we've got to truly live in our worth. And we have to truly be strong in establishing what we want and what we will not accept. And the reason we won't accept it isn't because of our ego. We won't accept it because it is damaging to us in ways that some of us will not admit, but truly damaging. My friend, by the way, a year after her divorce, ended up with breast cancer and made the decision to have both of her breasts removed, and the decision to not have any reconstructive surgery or anything like that. But my point is, a perfectly strong and healthy woman, never sick to my knowledge. I mean, true, if you looked at her, she's beautiful. Everything about her is beautiful. But I believe that the suppression, the emotional suppression, and the internal hurt that she experienced weakened her internally. And one of the points that these books make is that there is a direct relationship between physical abuse, verbal, emotional abuse, and our internal bodies. And that we are not to ever ignore that. It may come 2 years later, or it may come 5 years later, but it comes unless we do something to stop it.
I wanted to ask you ladies, because you made a point to say, because you talked about the daughter that couldn't medically examine when she was hurting. Have you ever been in a relationship and then you broke up or whatever, and I guess it's a depression and you just can't figure it out? You just want to, it's like I'm sick, and it's like, but I don't know why I'm sick, or what is it, or what is it?
You may know why.
This real deal up here, this real deal up here. You know, and then you made a point, because I've been like that. That's why I said earlier, before you even got here, Chanel, I admitted when we first were talking about Rebound, I got in a Rebound relationship because I didn't want to feel the pain. I'm that type of person. I don't want to feel any pain. It's like, okay, you got me this time, you're going to get me again, but then now I'm setting myself up wrong for somebody else. I know that. I'm putting up a shield for somebody else, but I don't want to hurt. I don't like to hurt. And like, you can't be in a relationship. I know that's just not real, to go through some kind of pain or hurt, or whether they hurt your feelings and didn't know they hurt your feelings or whatever. But that's how I am. But I know at one point before, years ago, I just felt so bad that, you know, I didn't want to get up. I just wanted to just, you know, sometimes like they say, waddle in it. You just want to just waddle in your own. Just let me waddle in it, you know, and that's not good. Maybe, and I will say this, maybe a day or so now, but you got to get up. But you got to get up, because now, for me now, I'm like, you know what, let me just give me that one night to cry it all out, and I'm just gonna get back going. But for me, I need, you know, women that I can talk to, that keep it real to me, don't sugarcoat, don't say, oh, Audrey, and like you say, take your like you said, the mom was saying, oh, just toughen up. I think that's kind of almost like a old school mentality, where the man would be, oh, he's just paying all the bills, and, you know, just toughen up or whatever. Forget toughen up. Forget toughen up. Go. I know there's compromise, but compromise means two people are satisfied, not one person. That's compromise for me. I can't compromise for you and then you're okay, but then I'm still not where I want to be. So I just wanted to know, I guess, have each of you, when you felt, you know, bad or going through a relationship or trying to rebound, get into a rebound relationship, what is it that you did to try to help yourself? Or even on the flip side, what is it that you think you should tell another woman to help herself? So if you were in a rebound relationship, just tell us something that happened. Were you depressed? Did you stay in bed? What are some of the signs of that? Because sometimes we could see it. We can have a girlfriend, and I could just say, for instance, I called you every day, and I was like, gosh, every time I call Tamara, she's in the bed. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Get up.
And show up. So what are some of the signs that we should see, you know, that we can recognize as a sister?
I'm in a sisterhood, you know what I mean, and I'm dealing with certain women, and you know, we're in a bond together. Me personally, like, my theory is, as far as me having a list of what I want in someone else, I feel as though sometimes I would be disappointed or overwhelmed, either from one extent to the other. So my list does not consist of what I want in a man. It consists of who I want Cynthia to be. And that's what my list is. My list is who I want Cynthia to be. So that's what I would share with my sister. Is that pull out your list on who you are. Who are you, Tamara, if it was you? Who are you, Chanel? Pull out your list of what you have to do for Chanel. And everybody else, is an old saying, I'm headed for greatness, try to keep up. So in a relationship, it has to be someone who not that I'm looking for, because I keep hearing you talk about the languages of love, and I read this book on that.
Gary Chapman,
it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. The 5 love languages.
I want to do
yes, it's amazing. I did a whole thing on that. Read that book and everything. Matter of fact, when I was in a tunnel years ago, that was one of the books that helped me to develop a love for myself and understand what type of love language that I speak myself, because I'm very giving, and that is one of my love languages, you know. But one of the things that I really did like, you know, when you were speaking about the love language, was about being loved, that people have to love you the way you want to be loved. It does you absolutely no good to only love me the way that you can. If you can only love me in your way that you can, then to me that's not true love.
That's almost like somebody saying, this is an example, and let me know if I'm right. That's just, say somebody came in and said, oh, let me pick up these cups. And I'm like, oh no, well, I'm just trying to be nice. Well, maybe your nice doesn't mean my nice. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I think people get offended, and I will say this has happened in my relationships before, and it takes self-reflection, and I'm just being real. Sometimes my man will say, well, I wanted to do that. Well, it isn't that I didn't want you to do it because you were trying to help me. I just want to do it myself. And me telling you don't do it is not me being mean. It's just being that I'm going to do that myself, or because Audrey with her OCD wants to do it. I might want to wipe the walls the way I want to wipe them.
From left to right.
But that's who
and
you
I know
are.
you wipe them up down, so it's going to tick me off if I see it. So just let me wipe the walls. But you may say, no, I don't want you standing up there to wipe the walls because it may hurt your back or whatever. But it's just because I'm being nice. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes just because your definition of something doesn't mean that that's that person's definition.
You know, for some, I know I've seen individuals who are hurt. And it's like, you know, I really like this person. They make me feel this way or that way. And then, you know, you're just kind of like, you don't want to say anything that will be negative because you want to support them. But I think it comes to a point as a sister and as a friend when we get those phone calls and the tears, and, you know, you want to be strong for them, especially women who are strong. And some of those friends we do admire in various areas of their life, and it's kind of hurtful to see them at that vulnerable stage. So as friends and sisters, I think that we should listen to them, but also encourage them. Encourage them to see who they are and, you know, why they deserve what they deserve, because some people really truly believe that they don't deserve true happiness. Like, it's non-existent. So I have to put up with this because I'm not going to get any better than this. And, you know, the thing is once you mature and as you know, get to a place where you know who you are and you know what you love and you know what you like, then it does become far few and in between because you don't already put those filters up. So therefore, if it's not going to add to the situation, because that's what relationships do. And it took me, I learned that in church 3 years ago, that my pastor said that you should come to a person 100%. Like sometimes, and I had an old way of thinking previously that a person is the person that's your mate completes you. That's not true. You know, that for some people it may, but
I wish you that's not necessarily
in reality,
true.
It's not true. It's like you add to one another's lives and you come whole, and it's things that you can work out together. But knowing your limit about what you're going to put up with and how is it going to make you feel, I think that's most important, and that'll stop a lot of women for falling into that slump and not reaching their full potential. And it just really takes some encouraging, and it really takes, you know, people who are going to be there to empower you, and empower your strengths and, you know, things that you like to do. If I know you like to go play tennis, I'm gonna be like, girl, let's get our little outfits and go. Get our little tennis rackets and go work out because it's going to feel great. It's going to give us energy, and you're doing something that you love. So that's one thing, too, in a relationship. You don't want to lose who you are.
Your identity. You don't
want to lose who you are and what you love about yourself. And I think that sometimes individuals find it quite the task to balance the two.
That's being around women who believe that they are powerful, beyond measure, that they have something to give, that we have something we can give each other. There are so many things that I get from different, sitting here listening to you is just amazing, you know, extremely amazing. You know, I compare it to listening to words from Maya Angelou. It was that amazing for me. Chanel, her power driven for helping this community, you know what I mean, brings out that thing in myself for me not to forget why we're doing this. Sometimes me and Audrey, matter of fact, we talked the other day as to why we're doing this. It keeps that reflection, you know what I'm saying? Just meeting different women and stuff. I think it's so important for your self-esteem and self-worth, you know what I mean, to know who you are. And some things I think that's so powerful. I'm going to have to think about that. About
what piece?
About the 100%.
Yeah.
I'm going to think about that because I think that women need to understand that, even myself. I think that women need to understand that, and that point needs to be reiterated, that you have to come to somebody 100%. Not that we're coming together to make a whole.
Right.
No, both of us as a whole are coming together to make a much greater object.
One thing that's also important is that when you come together as women, that you're not afraid to give 100% of yourself and allow others to know you,
I think
to
you
know
were
who
going to touch
you
on
really
that a little
are.
bit.
And that's really important. So the 100%, I don't think of it in terms of men as much as I think of it in terms of friendship with other women. Because some of us, you know, hide things or don't share things, and each experience that you have is helpful to another woman.
I love shoes. I love, you know, I have on great shoes today, or I may look great or whatever. You see me at work or whatever. But don't let this whole makeup fool you that I haven't been through things. And that's just like we tell some of the women in recovery. No, I wasn't addiction or drugs or whatever. That wasn't my downfall. But I've had some other downfalls. So I can relate to you in that way. Maybe it wasn't the drugs, but I had some other. Love may have been one. You know, for me, my biggest regret, I went back and got my degree. But that was one of my biggest regrets because I wanted a degree. The expectation that everybody knew it was when I was younger, that Audrey would already be running some company by the time she, you know, that was the way my persona was when I was younger. But then I chose, to me, love, family and love. You know, that was, I think, deep down what I want from some other things, probably childhood, when my mother and father got divorced. That was very detrimental to me when my mother and father got divorced. So I think maybe I was trying to make up for that. But you're right, you never know where we come from.
Friendship is a relationship that you share with someone as well. My question to you is that why do you think sometimes women may not give 100% to one another?
I think the reality is that most women, most of us live with some degree of shame. We live with a degree of sadness. And when you're communicating with people, those things can surface. You can look around this room and you can feel the depth of emotion. You know, a lot of that is from stuff that's been suppressed. So I think the challenge of opening up is a very serious challenge for us. And it's something that we have to overcome. Because even in terms of abuse or being in relationships that were not gratifying to us, that really in subtle ways hurt us because of who we are as people, even in that regard, to open up and share those things with another person, especially while it's going on and afterwards, is sometimes very difficult for us as women. But the reality is those things live with us forever. They don't go away. They will resurface as they have done today. They will resurface when we leave here. There are times when we are not wanting to even be bothered with these kinds of things, and it will come back to us. It will come back to us as we interact with men, as we interact with other women. So if that's the case, then they need to be released. They need to be shared, not just for others, but for ourselves as well.
I think shame is good for me, and I want to just go around again. Shame is good for me because I can remember in my first marriage, I just didn't want everybody to know all the stuff that was going on. You know, we gotta be this perfect couple. We can't just let everybody know that, you know, that this is going on with Audrey. And, you know, I'm a very private person anyway. So I didn't want, and then that's something that I have to get over from Sharon, because I'll be very private. Even my mother will say that to this day. Just, what is it? Because she'll know, what is it? You know what I'm saying? I'll say, no, it's okay. I don't want to worry you, you know, or whatever. But I think it's the shame sometimes. It's just like things when you don't fulfill things. Just like I said, the shame or the disappointment that is like, golly, you know. So what is one thing for you? One word, we'll go around, that may be a relationship that you maybe want to cover up or whatever. What was it for you? What was it? Like I said, it was shame or disappointment for either one of you. Either one can go first.
Mine was abuse.
Abuse.
Mental and physical abuse. That's what mine was.
Okay. And did you let anybody know that? Did you try to cover up?
Oh, no.
Okay.
That's why I'm sitting here, you guys.
You know, I know.
See, I'm a survivor. And Roberta knows my story, you know. You know, when I know now why I married my first husband, it wasn't love, it was,
I think I remembered a little bit way back at the conversation part.
Yeah, and I had 3 beautiful children, and then you know, then I had another relationship that was 8 years, and then my second husband, my first husband was total Hispanic. Well, I didn't understand the culture. Yeah, I'm Hispanic, but I didn't understand the culture. I didn't understand how Hispanic men were. I guess different way, you know, different cultures. Different cultures.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, and I was not raised that way, but I let it happen. Why I let it happen? I didn't let any family member get involved, but your mother knows. Your mother knew. Your mother knew. Every time I got that hit, my mother knew. She wasn't there physically, but she knew. She knew something was going on. So then you know, my second husband, he was white, 19 years. Don't know how that ended. Well, I know now how it ended. Our daughter, my daughter, she left, was the last one to leave the house. Well, you go through mourning, you go through all this, well, what do we have in common? There's nothing we have in common. So we milked it for 19 years. You know, we only had her in common because there's nothing else. So now my third marriage, I have this smile because it's Ricardo, he's black. So I've, you know, the different cultures, you know, and I found something in him that's, you said the word compatible. You find that pleasure that makes you high, you know, and enjoy being around him, and you know, you light up, you know, and it's horrible because he had to go through a bunch of stuff because of the 2 previous.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm dealing with now.
Yeah.
But Jean, what you find in Ricardo is very simple. You find that Ricardo is not abusive, that he is aware of abuse, that he is kind, that he is the kind of person who cares about how you feel, cares about you as a person, and adores the person that you are. And that's what I you find in Ricardo.
Flaws and all.
There you go.
Somebody who will love you.
Flaws and all.
And and Jean, that is also the reason why, and men don't often understand this, this is the reason why, whether he has money or not, is not really deeply important to you. The only thing that's important to you is that he knows how to love you. That's what's important to you, and that's what you thrive on. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because I think with most of us here, most of us would not put money first. Most of us would not. Most of us would put what you are putting first. Because that's what keeps us healthy, that's what keeps us thriving, that's what energizes us, that's what keeps the smiles on that face, that's what makes us feel secure, that's what does a whole lot of stuff that money and material things can ever touch.
That's why sometimes it's hard to get out of relationships too, because we don't want to lose the love. We want to keep the love. We want to keep that, though it may not be healthy love. We just don't want to lose that because we don't want to be lonely. I think that's a big thing for women.
A sense of security.
That loneliness and a sense of security. We just don't want to be alone. But I think when we learn to really self-reflect, and we talk about and love yourself
and appreciate yourself,
you will feel great sometime being alone. You will enjoy it. You can fall in love with yourself. Fall in love with yourself to know without
know what you like. You know what you like. That's why you attracted someone. And Jean, I'm so sorry that you had to endure all of those years of hurt. But
you know what it is I was raised with 5 brothers, and they never hurt me. My parents would never allow them to hurt me, and that's why I guess I was always put in a closet. They had me up here, and why I married an abusive. My brothers will never know the type of abuse that their sister went through. He would be 6 feet under right now. I kept it all from it, and you keep that, like she said, suppress it. I have suppressed it for so many years because I said, the next one's not going to do this. No man is ever going to lay a hand on me. My brothers nobody hurt me the way this man hurt me. But I had to understand later in years, it was the culture.
It was that individual.
Very individual, very much, because he was raised around violence. And
violence against violence.
And I think it reflects back to the point on what you were reading a little while ago about how sometimes you can exchange. I forget how you put it, but you were reading about how you're expecting certain things from relationships.
From that past, so you go with the knight in shining armor.
Right, the knight in shining armor syndrome. So you're feeling like, okay, so that's what I was thinking about, reflecting on when you were telling. I was saying, okay, so in the first one, the next time you're like, okay, I'm not gonna take this physical abuse. This guy is gonna be great. And then this guy comes and he has this other quality that I don't know if we should call it a quality, but this other character that you weren't on defense for. You were on defense for the abuse. Right. So when you found this other person, you're like, okay, no abuse. But wow, here it comes in a whole nother shape and form. You know what I mean? That's the reason why that I think that me, myself, I don't know, I have an odd type of way of looking at things when it comes to love. So, it may not be the conventional way, but I am amazingly happy. But I think that's why I'm not looking. I wasn't looking for that person because I had looked for them. I'm 52, and so to just find my happiness, I had looked for this person with these particular attributes my entire life. But I had to find out that it wasn't the person that I was looking for with the particular attributes. It was actually the maturity of me being the person that I needed to be for Cynthia.
Good for you.
You know what I mean? So when I became who I needed to be for Cynthia, then I attracted what Cynthia needed or what Cynthia wanted in her area, in her space. You know what I mean? But I think that that's true. The exchange, the knight in shining armor syndrome is probably one of my greatest fears, is that I could be blinded to the fact and you know what I mean, and that I could get blinded, you know what I mean, or blindsided is what I guess would be a better term.
I think that's why we have to have
Sisterhood.
our sisters, so when you're blind, I can see.
So that you can see, yeah. Right, because I come down here sometimes, and I think it's important that we have sisters. We don't know what you can bring to table. I will tell you, Chanel, that the other day she came to my office, just dropped by, support, you know, and sat down in my office, and probably doesn't know this until this moment. But she talked to me about just in us having a general sisters talking about, hey, what's going on with your life, what's going on with mine. And she expressed to me something going on with about her feelings about her son and situations around her. Because of the enlightenment that she gave me on herself, I was able to make an important decision that was actually going around in my head right then about my son. You know what I mean? And I thought about you the other night when I thought about, wonder where I got that idea from. Oh yeah, that's right. I was talking to Chanel in my office. You know what I mean? So it's important that we share ourselves with each other, because you don't know what piece somebody's gonna pick up. You know what I mean?
All right, well, we're wrapping up the segment for our Sexy Shoe Soiree and talking about rebound relationships and how we can build on that with sisters, how we can take care of that, because we don't necessarily have to be in a relationship that's a rebound if it's not healthy. So I just want to ask Chanel, my Real Women Reveal girl here, leave us with some information for other women, some sisterhood information, what you can say about maybe getting into a rebound relationship, or just loving yourself, or self-reflection, something positive to give to women about relationships, because just like we talked about earlier, whether it's said or not, sometimes there's things that we try to suppress and hide.
I would just say it's very important to have supportive friends. You know, someone that truly does have your best interest at heart, and someone who can understand, but also it's great to have a friend who helps you see your worth. If you're not feeling at your best, you know, they can, you know, look at positive attributes about you and help, you know, that shine out bright, or, you know, do things with you. Like I use the example of tennis, if that's something that you love to do. But, you know, as far as the rebound relationships, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You can make so much more progress doing something that you love, or helping someone in your community, or finding a new initiative that can, you know, help, you know, society, opposed to wasting that time being sad and being depressed. And, you know, we need good friends. You know, let your girlfriend cry to you, but I mean, it's to a certain point where, okay, take that one day, maybe that weekend, and then it's like, pull yourself together. And sometimes we need friends to remind us of how wonderful we are. Sometimes we need friends, you know, that will help, you know, encourage us to take, you know, our dreams and goals to the next level. So I would just really, my advice would be to just really, you know, focus on you, and that short-term relationship that's not truly going to fulfill you will be a waste of time. And I would rather say invest your time in doing something for yourself or your children, or, you know, just really taking that time out for you, whether it's meditation. I know personally I wish I had an opportunity to do some theatrical classes, or, you know, maybe if I wanted to, you know, go to the sports complex, I want to play volleyball. That sounds like a lot of fun, but I really need to start making sure I'm saying this to myself too, that I take out time, and make sure that you take out time and you encourage your friend to take out time, because a rebound relationship, it doesn't grow. It doesn't go anywhere.
Well, thank you for sharing that and giving some insight and being a friend, because I will say a lot of tapings that we have and segments and things that I may post, it's not just for other women, it's for myself also. It may be something that I need to have self-reflection for me, so I'm posting it for myself, not just for other real women. So thank you so much, Chanel, for always keeping it real, for being a friend, for being a sister. I love you.
Thank you for having this segment, and thank you for everyone to have healing with the experience,
for a great week.
Let's
go into a great
and let's share it.
All right.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks.
Well, we have our very special guest, Tina. I'm so glad she can make it down, my sister. So we just wanted to follow up. We were talking about the rebound relationships and getting into relationships and trying to heal. How can getting into another relationship make us feel better? We all know that the breakup type of thing and how we feel, whether it was a relationship that maybe we wanted to get out of or not. Even when it's over, there's still some healing we have to do, and sometimes we'll get into relationships just to make us feel better. But just give us your take on healing from relationships, getting into some type of rebound relationships to make us feel better. What's your thoughts on that, though?
I would say immediately after 21 years, I'm outside of a relationship, and I do celebrate making that choice and decision for myself as I've renewed my mind, and the new relationship is the Holy Spirit. I've identified who I belong to, and it has given me a new sense of confidence, a new sense of direction and will, and He'll will that rebound for me, as I'm not supposed to be choosing who I should rebound with other than that walk and having Him illuminate my path.
Okay, okay. What can you maybe share, especially I know a little bit about your situation, and I know that we're going to be having a great taping in Mesa by the water soon.
Yes, indeed.
But I want to find out what information or what little snippet that you can give of another woman when you want to, when she's going through a really trying situation or hurting relationship, and she's just ready to rebound in a sense. Because sometimes for me, as I indicated earlier, you weren't here, I would get in maybe to a relationship just so I can get over that relationship, just so I wouldn't feel it, because I didn't like the hurt feeling, I didn't like that pain. So what is it that positive that you can give to a woman that may be coming out of that relationship or may thinking into jumping into something just to get over that? What can you do?
Yeah, I definitely encourage focusing on self. As they say, or the old adage is, if you and someone else is on a boat and it is sinking, you want to put your life vest on first. And so my encouragement would be to really focus on self, do the opposite of the norm. I now have invested the time to hit the floor before my children, and you know, reverse it. Instead of taking a power shower, I take bubble baths in the morning, anoint myself with oil, really find the Esther in me, and just digest the importance of I'm beautiful, I am confident. Ephesians 3:20 says, you who are able to do all things exceedingly more than you can ask according to His power. So identifying my power and authority has allowed me to share with others how to rebound without the testosterone involved.
Oh. Boom. This is good. That's good. We almost gonna end on there, but I want to make a point because I'm with you. The power shower, I get tired of the power shower. I'm a bubble bath type of girl.
Slow it down.
I need to be relaxed myself and take care of myself, and I love myself. I'm at a point where I just love myself. So I hope that I wouldn't get in the path where I feel that, you know, that I'm letting someone else come into my life, because I've reached a point in my life where I like looking in the mirror and I'm okay with who's reflecting back, myself. Even though I want to get better,
and the male,
I'm okay for right this minute.
The male compliments I get more often than when I was married for 21 years. And now when someone says, you're pretty, I say, thank you, God already told me this morning. So I have to not rebuke the compliment, but I have to know who already told me that I was beautiful, so that I don't fall into the trap of falling into that rebound relationship with someone who may not have my same likes or endeavors. So the compliments, I have to really assess and evaluate their genuinity. When they are genuine, maybe, but right now it's okay to know that God created this beautiful me, and I have to know that I don't need the compliment in order to, you know,
feel beautiful,
or have to go get free lunch, or it's okay that I can just, you know,
that free lunch, that's a whole other story, right?
Yeah. So I'm just so grateful to identify who's created the beauty in me, so that I don't have to rebound so quickly into a relationship, because the relationship is vertical right now.
Okay. Well, thank you, Tina.
Thank you. I love you
so much. I love you too, girlfriend.